Scoom. All right.
Dude, just give me 5 minutes. I just want to help you real quick.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Big Scoom,
Hey, everybody. Tyler John the Don here.
and this is
Scoom
Scoom
Speech.
Speech. Is unhappiness a condition of circumstance or a habit of thought?
Yeah, off the cuff, I'm going to go with the latter.
It's a habit of thought.
It's a habit, buddy. Everything's a habit, man. And whatever you allow it to be inside your habit circle is what's going to keep either attacking you or growing. You're going to keep growing, escalating it.
You know, I like this too, but if we're going to try to debate ourselves here, because I would probably agree with you initially first. But again, to try to debate ourselves, like happiness looks, because a habit is always, I don't know though. My first thing is like happiness always looks different, right? Or unhappiness always looks different.
Yeah, it comes in many forms, kind of thing. Yeah.
So like, how can it be a habit then if 1 minute it's this and then it's that, or it changes, it's not the same?
Yeah, but still, emotions are like thoughts, man. And I think the best thing I heard was a Shaolin monk say that, like, we don't even know where thoughts come from. And once they're gone, he said it's not even likely that you have the same thought twice the same way.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
That's crazy.
I
right?
believe that.
Of course we believe that, buddy. This guy's a Shaolin monk.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point too.
He
Now,
only thinks
But now it's like I just feel actually now they're basically like one like peanut butter and jelly, because it's like the circumstance creates it and then the habit like takes control of it.
yeah. So which one would it be harder to change? Well, which
Gotta
one do you think should change first?
Oh man, I would say just probably the easier one, which would probably be just like the circumstance, like the environment or the circumstances.
You think so? I thought the thing that changed first is the habit.
Yes and no, but since every time, all the times you're unhappy, they always look different. It's like, all right, well, like let's say when you feel unhappy, you react in like 4 or 5, 6, 7 different ways. It's like,
Sure.
well, now I got to fix all 4, 5, 6, and 7 of those, as opposed to just not coming into circumstances or environments where I feel like unhappy.
Maybe, right? But then also through self-preservation, like full self-control, emotions and everything, nothing would shake you if your habits are there.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, yeah,
The
I guess
habit
it's
would have to
less.
change and then the circumstances around you. So if your habits change, then the circumstances around you would change anyway because the view of it would then still be different.
Well, I agree. I mean, the value of changing your habits when it comes to this would offer the most value, but it's like, I mean, is it even possible? Can you change your habits of when you get unhappy? Like basically how you react to it is that's what you're saying, basically, right?
When something makes you unhappy, yeah, sure, you could take it with grace. You could be thankful for any hardship that comes along, couldn't you?
I guess you're right. And that sounds pretty, when you word it like that, it sounds easy to make that a habit then.
Yeah, I know. It
It would
doesn't
be.
sound easy. Come
I
on now.
know.
You tell me that whenever you're 10 minutes late to work and you catch a flat tire and you're thankful.
Can a belief create a reality or can it only distort one?
A couple of, I'll say millionaires, right? Well-known people, they say to believe, right? Even till it's like you should believe in yourself or whatever you're doing, even to the point of like obsession kind of thing. Like, what is that called? When you're kind of lying to yourself, but it's like I'm here before I'm here, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to remember how he worded it, but yeah,
Well, like when they talk about like whatever manifestation or something like that.
yeah,
But
and like being delusional. being successfully delusionally successful, like that kind of thing. So I think, ask your question again.
Can a belief create a reality or only distort one?
Yeah, no, the first one.
It's interesting. I'm going to say the second one.
Really, I would be careful with the way that we word this though, because you say the word only, and that's a very narrow path, and I don't think it's. I think it's a little bit more broad than this. I don't like the word only in there. That's like saying the word just. It's like it takes away other routes that you could even explore, and that's not good. I don't believe in those.
And here's why I'll qualify it. Here's why I'm confident in the distort. It can only distort one, and only because it was like what we always talk about off camera. We can't have absolute truth, and we can't have absolute realness.
Yeah.
We must, because there's so many inferences and branches of thought and possibilities and equations that we would have to compute to get to the absolute truth that we don't have enough time for.
Yeah.
So we must go off beliefs that in some definitional sense have to be incorrect.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
But you think they dilute your reality to the point to where it's anything noticeably maybe dangerous or bad?
wow, that's a good question. I mean, it's a little bit off topic. If you could table it for a sec, because just off that simple definition of what we just defined,
Yes.
every time I believe something, I have to be distorting reality because
Yes, I do agree.
isn't reality only truth, which I can never grasp because I can't spend time cognitively deriving the absolute truth in all instances at all times every second.
I think whenever I think of something being the absolute truth, it's just something that just is as it stands alone. If I grab a piece of grass and put it in my hand and ask you, what is this? You're going to tell me it's a piece of grass just as well as your neighbor would. I think that's kind of absolute truth. But I do agree with where you're going with this as well. It's like we all look at one thing and we all agree that's one thing. And then your belief now, you let it out of your mouth or brain and you say, I believe that grass is something, right? And now you're distorting where you're getting into, right?
Well, it's really real, as in what I mean by that, because now I'm contradicting myself. It's like the grass thing, right? It's like a great metaphor, but 20,000 years ago they wouldn't have called it grass. So like, can we say it's really grass?
Oh, absolute.
Yeah, like just with anything, any truth you posit, it has an infinite amount of implications.
Yeah.
Like anyone, dude. So, and you can't work through all those
No
in
way.
real time.
No way. I agree with
So,
that too.
I have to act. I have to act on whatever my own personal belief, and whatever belief I have, I must be distorting what's real because I'm never in contact. I can never be in contact with what's real or what's true.
Yeah. So you know what's crazy?
Go for it.
You've never been in contact with what's real or true. That's interesting. So definitely bag that.
Yeah.
But besides worldwide major beliefs, right? And I'm referring to mainly religion here. Dude, there are so many micro beliefs. It's crazy. Like, like that's crazy. I didn't even think about that possibility. But in every single individual person, there's a whole belief system underneath of them. Well, I don't know why I never really thought this deep into people, but
Well, it's actually what we talked about earlier today too, off camera, where I posited that the closest that you can get to real is that I could have something, and then I could act certain ways that get me to what I'm trying to have. And if I can act it out and achieve it and get it,
yeah,
then that's like the closest to real we can get. It's like,
yeah,
hey, I thought this, I acted this way, it
yep,
worked. I think that is the closest we can get to real and truth.
yep. Map out a goal and then map out the the golden pathway to the golden freaking pot in the middle of the rainbow or whatever, buddy. Yep, that's it. There's no real cheat codes out here. It's hard work and whatever it is that makes you happy. Work towards it till you get to where you feel like you've leveled up and you're happy.
Yeah, that's like the metaphysics of like when you're like, oh, it's perspective. What you're saying is like, oh, well, it's been work. It works for that person or it doesn't. And if it does, then it's freaking true, man.
Yeah, right. Dang, that's
All
super
right, next
cool.
one.
Like it.
How does a thought become something we experience as real?
I don't think it ever does, really, unless if your thought is a blueprint and then you build the blueprint. But when a thought is real, yeah, I think some people just give the power of the brain a little too much power, man. And I don't think any of it has to be real because at the end of the day, it's all just choices.
It's interesting. There's a saying, you can let me know if you've heard it, but it's like, oh, like one reason why we think is so like we can like abstract that thought. So like we don't have to like go do it and possibly die while doing it.
I
Because
like
like
that thought. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's like you can easily use the power of your brain to sit still long enough and see where a goal starts and then see where it ends. And yeah, if you go down every little tiny rabbit hole or branch that your brain will take you down and you die at the end of every one of them, or maybe there's two that you're okay, it's like, all right, are my odds 50-50 or are my odds 70-20 or 80-20?
yeah, it would be crazy to have to act everything out first to to know something about it.
Yeah, I know. Well, just saying that, I feel like I've already changed my answer to what your question was.
And like that's another reason why we can never get in contact with the real and the truth. It's because we can never act out all things.
Yeah, no way. You know how many lifetimes it would take, dude?
Exactly.
It's like,
So yeah.
yeah, cut yourself some slack a little bit if you feel like, oh, everything I'm trying is a dead end. It's like, well, maybe you're trying the wrong thing or going about it first in the wrong step, right? Maybe you're starting with your right foot and not your left. It could be that simple.
I think this is should be like a good reason why you like should just cut all humans some slack. It's like you can't act out all possibilities.
Right.
You can't think of all possibilities. You must act and come from a place that's completely wrong or at least not true in entirety. And I think yeah, that should like make you want to like have sympathy for like people who you see like doing wrong or doing bad or whatever. Like, do you feel like that or
Sure, but I still wonder for some people that are, quote, stuck in some places, how long? Like, are you at what point? Like, there has to be a different way to do whatever it is, right? If you're stuck or you're trying to overcome something, maybe it isn't brute force. So maybe it is silence you find it inside of. Maybe it's a lot of self-reflection. Maybe not so much self-reflection, right? Because I say this with a grain of salt because self-reflection gets you, well, self-reflection is living off of things that you have already done, and most of those things you reflect upon are things you don't personally agree with yourself over, right? It's usually when you self-reflect enough, usually it goes into, I'm an idiot. Why would I have done that? Or why would I say this? Or, oh, great, this person thinks of me like this. But I think it was Jordan Peterson. He said, people don't really think about you as much as you like to think that they think about you, right? So that person in fifth grade that you may have said something wrong to or whatever, you probably reflect on that and they are thinking about their own right thing in their head somewhere that they've done wrong and live in that past. So reflection is good to have, but only with quick toe taps into the water of it. Because, like I said, a lot of it will quickly go into things that'll stand out or things that didn't work, obviously, right? Which is why you're here now and trying to figure out what's going to work next.
you mentioned
Obviously, sitting in silence and like pity and all this stuff, that's known to be negative. there's definitely no growth there. So the only thing you can do and should do is find discipline, find action, find something you can achieve, and uh, serotonin is released in your brain in micro doses, you know? So it's like do small things you know you can achieve. If it's paint a wall, right? Whenever that wall is done and you like the way it came out, hey, you got that achievement feeling, right? You've overcome something. And if it's self exercise or running with cardio, whatever your goal is, whatever it is, start small, make it something easy, something you can obtain, and then start doing small ones and then do bigger ones. And then eventually you're going to be, you know, doing the unthinkable. Start with the thinkable, start with the possible. I think that's the quote.
It's interesting because you mentioned being stuck, and then you mentioned doing small things for yourself, and like both those things are super correlated. I know, and those are like on like polarity, like one's on one side and one's on the other. But there's one common factor that drives that, and we talked about it earlier today too. It's like, what do you feel you deserve?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the answer for both.
I know.
And like you aren't gonna you're gonna stay stuck if you think you deserve to be stuck, and the opposite if you want to work your way out of that. And the only other thing I wanted to say, I just finished a book today, and it was called The Courage to Be. And basically, and I always hint at this too with you, way off camera, talking about what we talk about. So basically the quote in the book was like, you have to be able to accept yourself knowing that you are unacceptable.
Yep.
And it's like no one knows your flaws more intimately than you do.
Of
All the
course.
wrong you've done, all the negative aspects you have.
Yeah.
And it's like, I used to say this all the time. It's like, why would you think you deserve good things? It's irrational. It's not right to think you deserve anything good.
I know. That's where my humble brain puts up all these walls and blockers on me, but no, fudge that. I'm learning to get past those too, right? Because a wall is only put up like the wall in Berlin, right? The Berlin Wall, they busted it down. That's what walls are meant for, man. Fudge those ceilings. We don't need those. So,
That's why I think it's literally a maturity thing. And obviously that maturity doesn't come with age, as we both know. And
some failure, right? Trial and error.
it's a good question. I didn't even know. I would love to hear us talk about that right after this. All I was going to say was like feeling you don't deserve anything is fine, right? And it's probably pretty normal because you probably should think that. But being mature enough to know that it's going to affect other people if you live your life like that is a reason to not be like that. But if you don't care, then you know you're just going to hurt everyone around you more than you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, you could definitely never say there's ever been a ruler that said, I don't need that gold over there. Don't bring it to me, right? Like, dude, no, bring me that gold and yeah, put that crown over here. No, man. I know. I battle with this too because I'm like, no, it's humble, right? It's humbling. Like, that's what God would want us to do, right? Like, earthly desires and things like this, like they're not viewed to be as something that's a positive thing, right? Like all these attachments and all this stuff. And even Miyamoto Musashi said it too when he left the village and went to the mountains. And he even told other people that said, Miyamoto, I want to be just like you. He said, leave for 10 days, bring nothing but what you need. And this guy left with katana. And I know the first time he left, the first day he left with like a necklace from his mom that passed away. So he, on the way up to the mountain, he went past the grave where his mom was, and he left the necklace there. There was a little wooden practice sword stick that he had for Kato, and he burnt it, left it behind, ashes, gone. And he left with robes to cover his body, and I think a katana for survival. And that's where my mind always goes with it. Is like I could be like anyone else in the world and chase things, but at what point do you say, I have this, and then your friend says, I have this? That it's like, yeah, but both these things mean something. It only means something because of the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into the financial part that got you that thing. But where's the spiritual lesson in that? And that's where I'm always wondering in life is like, why why do I and I agree at the same time it puts up visual blockers too. It's like don't be greedy, don't be selfish and all these things, but it's like okay, but at the same time if you want to be a man, a leader and a ruler of a kingdom or whatever, then there's certain amount of things that you have to have, right? For your wife and your children and the people you care about, right? So you need a plethora of at least resources, right? Financials or whatever. You have to be very good at balancing and budgeting those things. And then along with that comes your routine, what we call discipline, the way you wake up in the morning, the way that you start your mindset, the way you go throughout your day and structure it. Those are things that it's important to teach your kids because then if you're a strong, good leader, they will be, as said. Sorry, that's probably way off topic. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I just letting it rip. I don't know.
No, actually, you said a lot, but I actually like how you came back to that other point about basically. I agree with like when you're a man, it's completely different than when you're a woman. Like there's a bunch of different odd ways now a woman can make money, but for a man, I feel like you really do need to be wanting to do it for someone else because it's so hard to make money. You probably know that you probably don't deserve all this money or the for me like what nah like I don't think who are men can really think like that and actually get success. So that I agree with. But you actually just gave me a huge mission for myself. I am going to spend some time figuring out why we are so compelled to stories like that. Obviously, it makes sense to fall in love about the person who has everything, who has tons of money and tons of riches and tons of whatever assets. That makes sense. But why do we fall in love with stories where it's the complete opposite? Jesus, Socrates, Gandhi, or not? Wait, is it Gandhi? No, not Gandhi. The Buddha, and yeah, like why? Why? What's the draw? Why do we like stories like that? And there's a quote that I wanted to say that I think you'll like. So it's about Diogenes, and he's like the guy in Greece who like was used to like sleep with the dogs and stuff like that, and he pretty sure it was him and like Alex the Great or whatever. But yeah, so he's living with the dogs, living in the slums, living like a humble person. And like Alex the Great comes up to him and he's like lying down bathing in the sun, Diogenes. And Alex the Great is like, oh, I can give you this, I can give you that, I can give you whatever you want. Just tell me. And he looks up at Alex the Great and he's like, can you move a little to the right? You're blocking the sun. That's all I want. Yeah, great story.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, buddy. It's a simple thing.
Like that? Why do we like stories like that? It's weird, isn't it?
I think it's because it's relatable. It's something that is obtainable for every person. That little bit of sunlight, that vitamin D, think about all the beneficial factors the sun has for a human being, right? Why is it so bad that we're inside all the time as a generation right now? Of course, minus your landscapers of sorts and your construction workers of sorts. But the larger part of the population, I think, is working inside, right? Away from vitamin D. This stuff is bad for you. We know it's bad for you to not be in that. So it's a simple thing. It's free. The vitamin D is free.
Hold up. I mean, think about yourself for a sec. Are you making the argument that because you seem to like that story? I like that story too. We use us for example. Are you saying the reason why you like that story because it had to do with the sun?
The sun is something that's obtainable to everyone, every person, and the sun is important to every human.
That's why you like that story.
I think that's why we naturally like that story. Like
that story specifically or in general?
I think it's the little things in general. The little things in the stories we get out of those real humiliating, not humiliating like that, but the humble stories.
Humiliation is humility.
Right. I know, but it sounds weird. Humiliation, just saying that word, it goes a lot of places.
while you were talking, I did come up with an answer for myself, and it's actually pretty simple, and it's actually the same thing. It's the reason why we like all stories. So it's really not that complex. The reason why we like stories, we've said this before, and you'll know I've said it. I don't know if you'll agree, but we like stories because it tells us how to act, and it tells us how to get what we want if like when we act that way. But like archetypally, like not specifically, but like, hey, if I act like this, then I can get that, and then we can like abstract that. So I think that's why we like, because it's still the same thing, whether it's the superhero or the freaking Clark Kent. Like either way, if we act like them, we'll get what we want. So we like stories like that. So I think that's what it is.
Okay, I could agree with that. And because kind of tapping onto what you had said there is like, never mind.
No biggie, no biggie. All right, still got some good questions though. What is the difference between recognizing suffering and identifying with it?
You can't identify with an emotion. Suffering is an emotion. And you can't identify with an emotion. You wouldn't say, "Hi, I'm Tyler, I'm depressed."
I was actually going to push back. I mean, isn't emotion the only thing you can truly identify with? I mean, I can't identify with what you're thinking, because how could I?
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't identify with anything at all, buddy. That's ego.
I mean, well, no, that's no way. I would just be hugely.
No, that's how you perceive yourself. No one else says, "Hi, you're suffering."
Well, hold up. Before we get off track, because you just made a crazy claim, I think. Crazy claim.
I hope so. I usually try.
Yeah. By saying we shouldn't identify with anything, I think that's absolutely wrong. No, we should absolutely identify with emotions, specifically others people's emotions, because if we wouldn't, none of us could get along.
Okay, you're right. So that's where sympathy and all that even come from.
Yeah, exactly.
Being able to relate with emotion, because I felt that before, right?
Heck yeah! If I couldn't do that with you, then how could I help you? How can I do anything with you?
Okay, but
So, no,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know. I still don't think you should. You worded it as, "Where do you feel this?" and identify with it. Where's the difference?
What is the difference between recognizing suffering and identifying with it?
Yeah.
Now, here's where I'll go. I'll go first because I'm giving you hard questions today, and I get the chance of watching you try to answer, and then I can try to think for a sec. One, I don't think there's any difference, or maybe what else I'm trying to say is I think it's like psychopathic or like sociopathic to try to separate the two.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think there is a difference, and I don't think there should be a difference. That's my answer.
Identify with suffering and acknowledge it.
Recognizing suffering and identifying with it.
Recognizing it, so identifying it.
Well, I made the argument that they're the same.
Right.
And that they should be the same. And if people don't think they're the same, there's like something wrong with that person.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the difference. So maybe there's something really wrong with me, but this is one I'd really want to sit with for a few days or something. And I bet
what? I got another one.
Yeah.
If someone can convince themselves they are unhappy, can they also convince themselves that they are not?
You use a double negative in the question, so I'm not falling for it. But you can identify. You can choose if you're happy or unhappy. Yes, it's a choice.
Right.
Everything's a choice.
Are there limits to how much thought can shape emotional reality?
Say that one more time.
Are there limits to how much thought can shape emotional reality?
I don't think there's limits on thought at all.
Maybe the better question is, what the heck is emotional reality? Is that even real?
I have no idea, but I definitely don't think you can limit any kind of thought.
I love that answer. That's a great
Yeah.
answer, man.
Dude, if you're limiting your thoughts, you're freaking. That's what I live not to do, and that's why we started this podcast, because I'm terrified of getting stuck in limiting thoughts, and that's why, like, like artists, solo artists, and stuff like this, they get writer's block.
Yep.
I watch our episodes, every one of them, and I don't feel like I ever get writer's block with thinking, because I keep it exploratory, I keep it fun, I keep it like thought provoking, hearing everything you think, question, wonder, and think, and your answers, of course, and mine, and then seeing also, the growth. That's why I started this. There's no such thing as writer's block over here. Welcome to Scoom Speech. So,
You
no
know,
way. Don't
it
ever
makes
limit
sense.
a thought.
Yeah, it makes sense that you think like that, because that and like the last question go hand in hand. Are there limits to how much thought can shape emotional reality? You say there's no such thing as a way to limit thoughts, basically. Then the question before that was, if someone can convince themselves they are unhappy, can they convince themselves they are not? If you can't put a limit on thought, then yeah, they can do that too, right? So that makes sense.
Exactly. So I'm really glad that your follow-up question was a better way to reframe the first, I guess, and then give me the perfect opportunity to say how I really feel about limiting thoughts. That's why, yeah, I don't think you choose to get stuck in an emotion. I done it, I do it. Sometimes I relate to Nietzsche the most when I do those things. If I'm stuck in a hyper focused mindset for a little while, or really low or really high, those choices don't mine, right? And trust me, you can get stuck in really high vibrations. It gets exhausting. But I wouldn't say there's ever negative moments. Nothing like getting stuck in a low emotion vibration, because you get stuck in a low one of those. There's only so much to learn. There's not much to grow down there. That's farthest from the sun as you get inside of yourself. Far from the sun, no life. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird how emotions could like just put a lens on your whole frame and just change the way you see everything. And man, that's dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And you ever get those feelings where, like, you're in between tasks and you're like, I don't need anything, right? Not hungry, not thirsty, don't want a cigar, don't need to do anything. What I'm trying to ask here, I think, do you ever get a sense of you're living and already deceased kind of thing? Or is this only me? Don't tell me.
Yeah, no, I can't say that. The only thing I could say that comes close to that for me that I've said to you before is like I can't, like, when something happens, like something big happens, or actually, I guess, yeah, really anything. But when something happens, it's like, did it even really happen? That's the only thing I get close to with that.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning that before. Yeah, no, I call it phantom living, because it's like, at this moment in time, no one needs me. I'm not in use, but I'm not out of use, right? Like, it could be, like, conscious and everything, but not needing to do anything or be anywhere, right? No one's looking for you. And if they needed you, you're there in service, kind of thing, right? Like, I'm ready to help if I need to help or whatever. But other than that, just at a place of complete peace, I guess. That's kind of how I also have figured out what the emotion inside of that moment is like as well. It's just, I'm at peace, but it's like different, a different kind of peace, a little different. Super interesting. Yeah,
Interesting.
the
This
human
is
mind is
like,
crazy.
it is. You just made me think of something stupid, but still worth asking. I remember we were talking about if
I
people
don't
say, oh,
believe
if,
in stupid questions.
they're like, oh, if the tree falls and no one hears it, did it make a sound? And it's like, if you're alive but nobody freaking knows you exist or needs you, are you living? But no, that's kind of
Right.
stupid.
And that's where I get these phantom moments. Right. It's like if I lost my phone and I took off with a backpack into the woods, how long could I be gone before someone genuinely was like, right? Because like they know me, I'm a survivalist, and no matter where I am by myself, I got my own back. Like I'll be a-okay, dude. I'll fight whatever it takes, as bloody and violent as it gets. But how long, right, could you go without somebody looking for you? And is that a bad thing? This is also kind of where my mind goes because I don't ask anymore. What I just said, is that a bad thing? I try not to word my questions that way anymore. I try to say, what's wrong with that?
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know if I could find anything wrong with that.
Yeah, there's something massively wrong with that. That's
What?
the worst existence you could have. That
Oh,
is hell.
man, dang. So yeah, yep, welcome to my life. Then I guess I live in hell.
Well, no, because you don't really think people could really live like that for long. I mean, if you don't offer anyone any value, it's like what we're saying. Like, is that are you even alive then? Are you even living then? I mean,
Yeah, I know. That's
maybe
why I call it phantom. I call it phantom mode. But
maybe you're alive but not living.
yeah, vampire. But at the same time, the reason why that wouldn't work for me, like in the long term effect, I do have a lot of people that would be looking for me, and they also rely on me as well. Like I do already have that goals and things going on for me and someone else. So yeah,
You
no,
know, before
I could probably get away with it during my 9 to 5 day, right? Like my boss probably wouldn't look for me that hard, but yeah, dude, I couldn't freaking get away from my life for a single night at all. So
I mean,
I definitely couldn't phantom live for more than 15 minutes in reality.
I want to make a really important note about that because it would literally take active choice and constant effort to be able to achieve a life like that.
Yeah,
It wouldn't happen by accident. It would take a lot of hard work.
yeah, you would be basically living the same life parallel as Sasquatch, right? Where it's like, oh, we spotted this thing, but only every 12 years, right? Like, how hard would you have to work, constantly move around to never be traced anyway? So,
Take more. It'd probably take a lot more work than that. It would just be really, really hard. I mean, because yeah, where are you getting money from, right? Where are you buying food from? Probably need a job, so probably need it there at least. Or
no, at that point, well, my brain always goes in situations like that to the Miyamoto Musashi story, where you would just have to go to the mountains with nothing but maybe the clothes on your back and maybe one weapon, if that.
okay, I guess
Yeah,
that's pretty possible then.
yeah, but that's the only way. You're not getting lost in the city, buddy. You're not working in society like how we operate today, doing any of that. That's not happening.
Yeah, cool.
100% not possible.
Cool. All right, well, let's wrap up for today, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments or email them straight to us, scoomspeech@gmail.com.